Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be an update video on my PWS Mark 216. There are no sponsors to the channel right now. How you can help me out is just by simply hitting that subscribe button and commenting down below. The comments, yes, help out the channel, but more so, just get me motivated to do these videos. Furthermore, if you want to switch up your subscription feed, FF Lifestyle. It is not gun-related content over there, but action vlogs, just content about life. A lot of really fun stuff. All the boarding sports. I do car reviews, random reviews, mountain biking content, fitness content, travel vlogs. There's got to be something over there that you are going to like. Check it out, hit the card up in the right-hand corner of your screen, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Well, adding to the recent range day from hell, I have back on the table the PWS. There's a very specific reason why I label a lot of those entry reviews as first impressions. I view 100 to 200 rounds as kind of like the first initial meet and greet with that gun. How am I feeling immediately out of the box, couple hundred rounds, first impression? But from there, a lot can change. And I really did not anticipate this gun taking the unbelievable turn that it did, but here we are. You may have remembered me doing a video on this PWS. If you don't, I'll link it here. But I'm talking about this thing being an absolute tank and eating bad ammo. And the bad ammo that I was talking about in that video was Turkish, like ZQI ammo that I assumed would be bad. I saw it blow up someone else's gun, and I'm like, okay, that has to be the culprit, because it couldn't be this glorious PWS. And I was getting maybe 4 to 5 cases coming out looking like belted magnums, meaning the rear of the case looked to be completely unsupported in the chamber. I assumed that they were all just double charged rounds, even though now, looking back, that may have been kind of a silly assumption. I took it to the range like on a total whim. I was actually right before FF Pocket Smith was going to leave for a through hike. I wasn't going to see him for a hot minute, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot for fun. And of course, that's the day something crazy happens. I had just crappy run-of-the-mill Tula 308 ammo that any other 308 that I have has shot just fine. There's nothing generally about Tula that's overcharged. If anything, it's going to be no powder loaded in there or something like that. I was using these old DPMS AR-10 magazines, or at least what I'm assuming are AR-10 magazines. I put this magazine up in that gun, and this is what came out of it. And it absolutely blew up to a million pieces. This was a scary day. It was the first round out of the magazine. The bolt seemed to be a little bit sluggish, but looked like it was into the chamber, and first round, blew the gun up. Now, the upper, the lower were completely fine, and I was kind of dumbfounded. I'm like, what is the deal? Is it these magazines? I don't know. I put in a Magpul PMag, kept shooting for science, and the Magpul PMag, 25 rounds, loaded to the same steel case ammo, shot no problem. Immediately following this, bang, 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 whole magazine, no problem. I put in another one of these, also still not filming. First round out, bang, whole gun blew up. Secondary mag looked exactly like this. And I was kind of like awestruck. I'm like, okay, so that's a major issue. Why I was so frustrated is because if the bolt is out of battery, the gun should not mechanically be able to go bang. That should not happen. The bolt being slightly out of battery, even if a little bit, even if the feed lips were rubbing on that bolt carrier group and it was just ever so slightly out of battery, you should get a click, no bang. But very clearly, multiple times, I was very much so getting a bang. And this brought me back to that Turkish ammo. I'm like, was I just using those magazines? Were those magazines causing the issue? I have no idea. But I felt at that point, I was very just discouraged by the gun. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send this back to PWS and have them take a look at it. In full disclosure, they knew what I did for my full-time job because I sent it from that full-time job. And then they also knew about my channel. They knew of the issues. I sent them the link to the video. So that would be, in my experience, like if you were to get the, like if you were trying to do what you could to really have them help you out as much as humanly possible, that would be the way to do it. And the polar opposite of like, hey, I'm just a random person sending a gun in for warranty repair. They had made me aware that the 216 Mod 1 parts were a little hard to find, whatever. It took about 2 months, and they had still not even really touched the gun or looked over it. I'm like, bro, are you guys serious right now? This is like unbelievable. Finally, I was like, can you just headspace it? If it headspaces, I'm assuming it's the magazine. I don't know. They're like, we don't know. They headspace the gun. It headspace fine. The firing pin protrusion apparently measured fine. They put a magazine in, 25 rounds fired without issue. And here we are. I get to the most recent range day. I'm reinvigorated about the PWS. They said it's good. I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna like get rid of it. And I'll do it up with all these new accessories. I'll get excited about it again. I bring it to the range. I start shooting that same steel case ammunition, but now in a PMag, which it's shot before. I use the steel case ammo as a tester. Bang! I get one blowing up right in my face. And this one I did get on video. Now, of course, the sun was to my back. It was a little bit harder to see, but you can see with the excess of smoke that it absolutely fired out a battery. I was able to pick the case off the ground, and you can see, once again, a completely unsupported chamber. Now, is it the steel case ammo? I don't know. I really don't know. I would say no, and the reason why I would say no is originally I thought it was the Turkish ammo causing these issues, and very clearly there's one common denominator going on here, and that is this gun. And for whatever reason, mind you, that was with a PMag this time, so I'm scared to shoot this heightened to kind of an extreme amount, because originally I thought, well, it had to have been that mag. And originally before that, I thought, well, it had to be that Turkish ammo. And then I could say now, well, it had to be that steel case ammo. But obviously, I don't believe that is the case. I believe that there is maybe an out-of-spec problem with the magazine well, or the bolt carrier group, or the magazines, or everything combined, causing that bolt to not fully seat into battery. Now, even more alarming, what should be happening is that bolt should be clicking and not going bang. The hammer should drop. It should not fully contact the firing pin, and it should not go bang. I want to make that very clear. If a gun is out of battery, there should never be a point that it fires, ever. So I don't know. Like, I'm really disappointed with this gun. And I picked up I was firing some of this like South African stuff as well. All those, the bottom of the case looked fine. And I really do believe at this point that it depends on maybe how far up you insert the magazine. Maybe the magazine catch is out of spec or something along those lines. There's probably something much greater going on here that's completely unacceptable. What am I gonna do with this gun right now? I should also mention I tried it with an Springco orange spring in there, because my assumption was, hey, I want that bolt to fully seat into place no matter what. And that actually happened with the Springco orange. So it happened with the factory spring and the Springco orange. And then, furthermore, problems started all over the map. I was getting failure to feeds, failure to eject, just on every gas setting, with the Springco orange, with the factory spring, suppressed, unsuppressed. It was like the entire gun was falling apart. And the more I got failures to feed, the more I got failure to ejects, I just got more and more and more frustrated, and it was getting to the point that I just wanted to throw it across the range. I was really bummed out by it. And at this point, I'm done with the gun. I'm going to take all the accessories off, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I send it back to PWS again, but like, you don't really want to You know, would you give this to a buddy? No, probably not, because of the obvious issues that are happening. So you're kind of like basically shit out of luck with a 2K AR-10 that's supposed to be one of the best, as I once thought it was, and it's one of the worst. I mean, I have a PSA AR-10 that performed much better than this at a quarter of the price point, and that's saying a lot considering the fact that this is a long stroke gas piston and all those other things. The LMT reinvigorated my thoughts of AR-10s, but the PWS squashed them almost entirely. I really believe that AR-10s are just not the move for the most part, unless you're going with an LMT or an HK or a Knights. It just seems that they are worthless guns. Absolutely worthless. I've had so many issues with AR-10s from across the board, all the different price scales. They're really just not that great. The other random issue I'll end on too is the trigger was just not resetting at all. Like I was sticking. I'm like, this is just an absolute nightmare. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section what you guys would do. But so far, I'm pretty upset at this gun at this point in time. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.